this stage, we're going to practice writing methods, and we're going to learn the basics of how we measure how fast a method will run. Just as a reminder, a method is a named block of code. It can have parameters that let us pass information into it, and it can return 0 or 1 things. Return means that the call of the method will evaluate to that value. We write methods for lots of reasons. One is that we are coding what an object needs to know how to do. That's how we build the functionality our objects need. Here is the technical description of the declaration of a method. Each line of this defines the syntax for one element of our code. They always start with what they are defining, followed by a colon. This is followed by descriptions of what you would put in that place, and those descriptions are separated by vertical bars. Look at this line. It is saying that the placeholder named modifier can be filled with nothing, which is defined by emptiness, or one of the words private, public, or protected. So those vertical bars are essentially ORs. The first line is a declaration of a method. It is a modifier followed by a return type. Return type is void if we aren't returning anything, or a primitive type, an array type, or the name of a class if we are returning an object. After the return type, we have a method name, which is any legal identifier, followed by parentheses. Inside those parentheses is a parameter list, which is either empty or contains a list of variable declarations, type followed by identifier. After the parameter list, there is a pair of curly brackets that contain the code that the method is naming. Now that looks pretty complicated, but we've been declaring methods this way all semester. I'm showing you this to point out how rigid even high-level languages are, and therefore how disciplined we have to be to build systems using these languages. We use the word call to mean that we want the machine to execute a method. There are two ways to call a method. If the method is in the class where we want to call it from, we can just use the name of the method followed by parentheses enclosing the arguments we want to pass into the method's parameters. If we want a particular object to run a method, then we use that object's name followed by a period, and then the name of the method with the argument list. Sometimes we want a method to calculate or build something for us. In that case, its return type will be the type of information that we get back from it. When we call those methods, the call on the method will evaluate to whatever value is in the return statement that the method executes. We can use that return value any place where it makes sense, in an expression, the right-hand side of an assignment statement, an argument to another method call, or as an object we want to call another method on, and so on.